right, so let me...
If you look at upcoming live streams, our scheduled one is the only one up, so.
We should be up now. Hello there. Take two. Sorry about that. I promise you, we are smart. We know what we're doing. We're all farm boy. Thank you for letting us know we are live. Woo! Okie dokie. Anywho, friends, welcome to Ilum Radio. Finally on YouTube. We are no longer on our on Twitch. We are here on YouTube. Thank you for our actual inaugural voyage onto YouTube. I am your host, Dave the Beard Menace, and as always, with me is the wonderful cosplayer, the amazingly talented Millie.
Oh, there.
Hello there. So,
So my just as an FYI, if I'm like going in and out, it's my Wi-Fi, so please understand that I have real
very funky Wi-Fi. You know what? I will figure
bad
this.
internet.
Let me do something really quick. And we're doing it live. Do. And of course, it's not coming up. Anywho, guys. So tonight we are talking about, obviously, Kenobi episodes 3 and 4. Now, to warn you, right up front, we are going to have spoilers ahead. So keep in mind, we're going to have spoilers. Episodes 3 and 4. Yes, we are well aware of episode 5 dropping tomorrow. But with that said, it kind of feels better to, give ourselves like a week to watch it. Obviously, it comes out Wednesday. We talk about it on Tuesday. Gives everyone the weekend, gives everyone time to watch it. So that's how we're doing this. That's how we're rolling it. Anywho, let's get started. It looks like Millie may have froze on me, so we'll wait for her to come back real quick. So what we'll do is I will start it off. Let me just find a photo of Millie to use for a stand-in while we... That's actually a pretty dope one, if I do say so myself. Hang on 2 seconds, friends. While we're doing this live. Thank you for hanging out, Bro Farm Boy. Desktop. Do. Perfect. And, all right, cool. And we will move this over here. And we'll do that. That's a little bit too much. Yeah, I think Millie's having some Wi-Fi technical difficulties on her end. We'll give her a couple minutes. Or we'll try something else to give her a call. Yeah? We all in good agreements? Well, we love that you're here also, my friend. I really wish it wouldn't do that.
Okay, I think I'm back now.
Do you think it might help on your end if we go sans video? It might help with the bandwidth on your end, maybe.
Maybe.
with
Wait,
that.
my camera's off, so I think it's good.
Hey, Darren, what's going on? My cousin's in the chat. What's going on, brother? Thanks for stopping in, man. We're having some technical difficulties. Yes, Millie does have some Jawa interference.
Oh, I see you have my conics up.
Of course.
Yeah, I have Jawa interference.
If you want me to use another photo, Millie, please let me know and just send it to me real quick.
Without the camera, I'm still... I really don't care. Honestly.
She's like, I don't care. I just want to talk Star Wars to get this over with.
We're already like 20 minutes late anyway. And with all the tech issues.
I know, right? So welcome to our inaugural YouTube stream. Technical issues are still happening. Thank you guys for stopping in. World Farm Boy, thanks for following me on my other channel and coming to hang out on this channel. Thank you very much for that. And Darren, thanks for stopping in, showing the support, brother. So I guess we'll just wing it, and hopefully Millie doesn't cut out too much. Today's episode is brought to you by T-Shirt Star Narwhals. So there you go. So, episode 3 begins with Obi-Wan trying to communicate with Qui-Gon, needing help, strength, somehow, some way to deal with Darth Vader, or Anakin, however he wants to look at it. Yeah, it kind of sucked. What do you think about Obi-Wan's, I guess you could say, prayer at the beginning of the episode there, Millie?
Quite honest, because I only watched it like once. Yet I did come prepared with episode 4 notes, thankfully, so I can actually remember what happened. But
there you go.
I don't. Was it when like he was in like his cave? Wait, was he not in the cave?
He was on the transport, like, and Leia sleeping on the side.
Leia.
Yep.
Oh.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, I don't remember that. So. Yeah, I'm like so unprepared with like episode 3 stuff. Like episode 4, so prepared. Episode 3, not so much. So please refresh me with the episode 3 stuff.
Sure. Okay, so episode 3 starts with Obi-Wan, like they're on the transport, and they're heading to, what's the name of the planet? I have it right in front of me. Not that I'm looking at it super live.
Oh wait, I should also have it in front of.
Mapuzo. There we go. So he's describing they're on their way to Mapuzo, and while they're sleeping, Obi-Wan is literally on the ground praying. I know it's him supposed to be like meditating to hopefully talk to Qui-Gon, but he's there praying for Qui-Gon and give them strength to face Anakin. But while he's doing that, while he's doing the prayer, we keep on getting juxtaposed images or scenes of Vader being suited up in his armor. And Vader's a lot more messed up than we've seen him, especially like in Rogue One. I know Rogue One's a lot later on in the timeline. And let us know if there's any sound issues, guys. You can hear us pretty well. But anyway, I know Rogue One is a lot further in the timeline, so maybe he's a bit more healed from his burns. But he's pretty messed up, man. He looks like cheese, like really bad cheese in the.
Jesus. Darth Vader did him good. I mean, like, he got his revenge.
Yes, he did. He roasted, like everyone else, he roasted Obi-Wan. Like, Obi-Wan gets roasted in almost every single effing episode.
Actually, Darth Vader's the second person to roast Obi-Wan after Owen in episode 1.
Yep. Roasted. So yeah, like it's
anyway.
So yeah, like we see Vader being suited up, which honestly we've never seen before on screen, him being suited up like at all. Which is pretty dope. Like we actually saw
no.
Yeah, and it's like it looks uncomfortable. Like I can see why he likes staying in in the back of the tank.
I guess the second the closest we have was like the end of episode 3 and parts of Rogue One when we see him like get the helmet put on him and
Right.
stuff. So, but like this is the first time we actually see him like get like, armored up, I guess. The droids, I believe.
Yeah, and we see like the actual. I know we saw like you're right. Like we did see it in Revenge of the Sith, like the actual cybernetic arms or like his like prosthetics get put on him. It's just weird to see it again. I don't know why. Something about like from Rogue One, I never forgot the imagery of just like him just chilling there, missing arms and legs in the back of the tank, and he still does it. It's like it's no wonder why he is so damn angry because not only is I'm sure his suit very uncomfortable, and I think that's like in the old canon that it's purposely made uncomfortable, but he can't do anything. He has to live in his back to tank like forever and eat in there and God knows what else. So it's like, and if he leaves the back to tank, he has to be in a suit. So life sucks. It's why he is so angry and why he just says such terrible things to Obi-Wan when they meet up again in this episode. But here's my question for you. Like, I was thinking about this a lot when I was watching this episode. It sounds like a joke, but it is kind of serious. So, right now, it seems like Reva's main goal is to be the Grand Inquisitor, right? That is her goal.
Seems like it.
Fifth brother wants to be Grand Inquisitor also. Like, it's both of them are vying to be Grand Inquisitor and impress Vader. What are the perks of being the Grand Inquisitor?
I
can't honestly.
I don't know.
Exactly.
Not really clear. I mean, clearly, like the Grand Inquisitor position is like higher up in the ranks, like with like Vader, but like you're I honestly don't know.
And your Vader's like left or right hand because he has no hands. Haha. But you're like you're Vader's right hand, which means you're being watched more than anybody. So if you mess up,
right,
he is going to kill you, or worse. So what are the perks of being Grand Inquisitor? Like, is there a better dental plan, or
no one knows? At least we don't know.
Yeah, we don't know. But it's like, I was watching this, I'm like, why would anyone want to be a Grand Inquisitor? I'd just be happy being a Stormtrooper. Just, I'm...
Like, they're all, like, all the Inquisitors, like, Grand Inquisitor or not, are, like, have the same goal. Like, I honestly don't know what benefits the Grand Inquisitor position will have.
Right. Like, it's
like... You get a cool spinny lightsaber.
Yeah.
What? Okay. I guess that's the only thing, but that doesn't have to do with anything.
Because, like, the fifth brother and, like, everyone other than Reva has a spinny lightsaber. I think Reva's the only one that doesn't have a spinny lightsaber. Which is, I guess, yeah, sure. Then she gets a spinny lightsaber, but...
I don't think fifth brother has a spinny saber. I think only Grand Inquisitor does.
So... Right now they don't, but I think in Rebels they have them.
I gotta rewatch Rebels. It's been a hot minute.
Oh, you'll remember. Remember the helicopter thingy they did?
Yeah.
Yep, that was fifth brother. That was fifth.
Oh.
When they're flying around.
I thought that was the... Never mind.
Yep, that was the fifth brother and the other sister. Is it seventh sister? I forget.
That sounds about right. I could be wrong.
Yeah, I think I might be confusing her with the two in Fallen Order. Anywho, but yeah, so that's... I was thinking about it, and it's like I can't think of any good benefit other than no one else but Vader can tell you what to do. That's probably the coolest benefit, and everyone's beneath you. But it's like there is no benefit being Vader's gopher. I think.
I wonder if the Grand Inquisitor position will like also interact with Palpatine. isn't Palpatine like also responsible?
Yes.
Hold
Yes.
up. Hold up. Wait, this is actually making sense. Hold on.
Okay, go for it.
Why am I now just okay, so like I'll probably bring this up in episode 4 in the episode 4 thing, but like I feel like Palpatine has a reason or has like a motive or like a reason why there are things in Fortress Inquisitorius we'll see episode 4.
Mm-hmm.
Um that's all I'll say. I'll get into that when we actually talk about episode 4, but back to episode 3. Yeah.
Yeah, so
I don't want to
yeah.
get too far ahead.
So yeah, Grand Inquisitor, if anyone who's watching this after the fact, let us know what you think the big like draw is to be a Grand Inquisitor, because I can't find a really good benefit to be that, because you have Vader watching your back, who's going to kill you as soon as you mess up. You have the Emperor watching your back, who's also going to kill you as soon as you mess up. You can't mess up at all, and both these guys are going to kill you or worse, like leave you for dead somewhere on a planet. But anywho, I digress. So, the Anakin Force ghost that we possibly see in this episode on Mapuzo.
Oh, I don't think that wasn't a Force ghost. I think that was just like a hallucination or of some sort.
I like. So when that first came up, I actually thought it was Qui-Gon for a second. I had to stop and watch it again because I thought,
because yeah, I knew immediately that was Anakin because of the robes.
Yeah.
Like the costume.
Watching it the second time, yeah.
Anakin Skywalker costuming basic, but I knew immediately who that was. So tell you that. So.
Rewatching the second time, I kind of saw I saw like underneath like the robes. I caught you really close because I was looking for like facial hair because maybe it's Qui-Gon, but no, I saw the chin and the underneath, and I was like, oh, it's Anakin.
There are also a ton of pictures on Twitter, and that's clearly Hayden.
Yeah, it's definitely him. But it's like so, and that's I think it's like a good, really amazing premonition for later on in this episode, because in Obi-Wan's head, even though he knows he hurt Anakin, cut off his arms, let him burn in the lava, left for dead, in his head, he still looks like Anakin Skywalker. He still looks like the Jedi he saw 10 years ago. So now that he knows he's alive, that guilt is still there of Anakin.
Right.
Yeah. Or it could have been I doubt it was this, only because he's Darth Vader now. But it could have been him like projecting what he used to look like to Obi-Wan, maybe. Possibly.
It's possible because like the Force Ghost did the same thing in Return of the Jedi.
Right.
He's not a Force Ghost, so
yeah.
We don't know fully how the Force works in this universe, because we've seen it very many ways. Some like are unpredictable things, and some are like unexpected ways. I don't want to delve too deep into it, but yeah, it's very convoluted and kind of confusing. But like,
what are your thoughts on seeing the Fortress Inquisitorius in live action?
Oh my god, the Fallen Order heart in me just makes me. The Fallen Order heart in me makes me happy. Like, I loved that Fallen Order boss battle in there, and there are clearly a lot of parallels in that for episode 4, and yeah, that's I keep going back to episode 4, but like the two connect so well.
They really do. They really do. I think, and obviously correct me if I'm wrong, but like every single person who played Fallen Order, who saw that scene, was like, oh, I fought there. So many terrible things happened in that place. That is not a good place. At least I definitely was. So But yeah, so we see the Fortress Inquisitoris, we see Reva land on there, and we see her get into a scuffle with the other Inquisitors.
Yep.
Still with me
Did
there?
we, in the background, don't we see like some of the like artifacts from like when from Coruscant? Like we see like the Jedi youngling like helmets and lightsabers in the background just there for some reason. Like they just keep them like as trophies.
Yes.
Did you
So
notice that in the background?
so in episode 4, you know what? Let's just jump around. Let's have fun with it. In episode 4, we see them a lot clearer. So you know how Tala created the distraction for Reva to come speak to her, like in their little meeting room office room, right? So the camera zooms in on her, and you actually see the shapes of the different lightsabers behind them or behind her, much clearer. They're trophies. They were taking trophies and then putting them in that room. And that also took trophies of the youngling helmet thingies that we saw them in, like in the beginning of the episode, and also in Attack of the Clones, and obviously, were they in Revenge of the Sith? I don't remember.
Should be, yeah, because we see them toward the end.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, they're keeping trophies back there, man. Like they're really keeping trophies back there. So yeah, so episode, we'll just skip through it real quick because I want to get to episode 4 also, just because episode 5's tomorrow. Zach Braff voices Freck. I thought it was Seth Rogen.
Oh, wait, you thought that was Seth Rogen voicing Frick?
Yes, I seriously thought it was Seth Rogen. Even Jen, my wife, thought it was Seth Rogen.
Seth Rogen has such a distinct voice. Like, how could you not like notice that was like Zach Braff?
I don't know. It just sounded very Seth Rogen to me. I'm like, oh, that's cool. Seth Rogen came to voice a Star Wars character. Awesome. You know, like it never crossed my mind it was that. In fact, when they said Zach Braff was in this, I thought he was a stormtrooper. I didn't think he was Freck.
Nope.
I mean, I know that
You're
now.
wrong.
I know that now, but yeah. Obi-Wan slipping up, calling Leia by her actual name, and then saying, "I see her mother's face every time I look at her." That was kind of
Oh God.
a punch to the gut.
Moment. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a punch to the gut, like really, really hard. And like again with Ewan McGregor, you could see the pain in his face as he's saying that.
Yeah. Coming back to me now.
Yeah.
That part.
And also like the big controversy that line. It's a throwaway line, but that hang on a second.
Oh wait, didn't he mention that he had a brother?
So this is what I want to.
Blood brother.
Yes, that he possibly had a brother. He remembered his mother and his mother, his father, and that he possibly had a brother. He remembered a baby.
Yeah, that's huge.
Very huge. So here's where it gets weird and where I think they're going to, because obviously the neckbeards are upset about the whole, like, it messes up the continuity. Why does she say what she says in A New Hope?
I think it enhances the line in Return of Revenge of the
A New Hope?
Episode 3. Revenge of the Sith.
Okay.
He says, "You were my brother, Anakin. I loved you."
Yes.
And then him saying that he had a blood brother before he became a Jedi.
Ooh.
That just made it more emotional to me. And that just enhances that one from episode 3.
I didn't think
in
of
my
that.
opinion.
No, I think you're right. I didn't think of that at all. He was like longing for that brother, and now we know he had one, and Anakin was that. Yeesh. Oh God, yeah. Yeesh.
Yep. I'm pretty sure I'm the only one that thought of this, so
Yeah.
no one on the internet has said this like on Twitter or anywhere, so I'm very glad I thought about that. Like the moment he said that, like, it just makes me upset. Um, I do want to know what his brother was like, if he like ever like knew more about him. I highly doubt it, since I think he was taken away when his brother was a baby.
Right. And it
Who
makes
knows
you
what happened to them?
wonder if like his brother had like any force sensitivity also.
I
But
mean, if the baby did, then the Jedi probably would have also noticed too.
yeah.
Mm,
Um. So here's my little headcanon theory about the whole Obi-Wan having a brother type of thing.
sure.
Obviously, like I said, nerds are getting upset about the whole like, well, why did Leia say this in A New Hope about helping Obi-Wan Kenobi fought with my father during the Clone Wars, yada yada. If they already had, if he came to save her 10 years earlier, why not reference that? What if in her mind she thinks that Obi-Wan Kenobi is the brother that Ben Kenobi was talking about, and that's
Ooh.
how they kind of write it, I guess. You know what I mean?
Hmm. Didn't, yeah, didn't like, am I like making this up, or didn't he like make up in A New Hope that, oh, he had a brother named Ben Kenobi?
Um,
And
Luke
like when like yeah, when like Luke and Obi-Wan were like interacting in Tatooine
Luke is the one
when they
who
first met up.
Luke is the one who says it. Like when he's talking to Uncle Owen at the homestead,
Yeah, yeah.
he's like, I guess the robot belongs to an Obi-Wan Kenobi. I wonder if he's related to old Ben Kenobi. So Luke's the one who says it, but maybe that's how Leia sees it later on.
Maybe maybe his brother is named Ben, and Obi-Wan took the name of Ben, who was his real younger brother's name.
And that's the only thing he
Oh,
remembers. Yeah, maybe. Maybe. Maybe.
maybe, maybe. There's like this whole loophole thing. Like, who's the real Ben?
If you're trying to hide from the Empire, why is your
Oh my
last name still
God.
Kenobi? Um so when he says I wish I could say I was lying
Sure,
to Leia,
I'll
what happened?
sure, I'll steal the identity of my little brother I don't know much about. Sure, why not? Anyway,
They're looking for him, not me. They're looking for Obi-Wan Kenobi, not Ben Kenobi. They're not going to make that. They're not going to make that distinction. Um, Someone on Twitter also no, not Twitter, on Reddit point out like, obviously they're not making fun of Obi-Wan. What they were saying was everyone's arguing about
right.
why did Obi-Wan call himself Ben Kenobi? Why not just change his full name? Why is Luke Skywalker still called Skywalker if they're trying to hide him on Tatooine? Why not just call him Luke Lars?
Luke Lars, exactly.
Because that would hide him a lot better. Like they would, like Vader would think that Uncle
Like
Owen had a kid.
Leia's Leia's last name has changed. Why
Yeah,
not Luke's?
she's Organa. Yeah, exactly. So, but the answer to that was because obviously Lucas made it up as he went along. So that's why I get upset when like nerds get.
Or like there's the thing that like Leia was adopted by royalty who are like well known on that planet, and like if like people around like hear like a Skywalker, they'll like recognize the last name maybe. And Tatooine is where like a lot of people aren't really that well known, other than like the Hutts, and like the Lars family aren't really that well known, so like they'll get away with like adopting someone with the last name Skywalker. That's my like little headcanon.
That's true. Yeah, they probably have to talk to like 4 people at the most on that planet because they're moisture farmers. So, and most of them are probably
Exactly.
Most of them are probably Jawas. So, um,
Right.
so that checkpoint shootout, we learned that Obi-Wan is not above using a blaster, which we saw in episode 2, but he's not above using
Somewhat
someone as a,
civilized.
right. Yeah, like I guess can say that because obviously he's been using one for like 10 years or 20 years up until A New Hope, but he's not above using someone as a body shield. Like he
Oh, he can't really use a lightsaber in public without getting caught by Inquisitors.
Right.
So
Like he grabs.
he has no other choice.
Like he grabs Freck, which I get it. You know, Freck kind of like turned them in and turned on them, so I get it. You know, but
Right?
it's like, dude, like you literally use him as a body shield and just like pop, like judo chopped him in the back to knock him out. Like, dude, oh my god,
Yep.
what happened to you these 10 years, Obi-Wan?
A lot has happened, apparently. I mean, the PTSD is one of them.
Yes. Taladurith we introduced her at this point,
Yes.
the Imperial spy. And the Jedi safe house, which caused a lot of cool stuff all over the internet of people looking online and looking at those
Yep.
names. I was only myself able to translate. We'll get back to her, but I was only able to translate 2 names from Erubesh. The rest, like, and there's no one I recognize, and the rest were too blurry. But it was Lioe, Lioe, and EU.
Yoey.
Yep, Lioe, Lioe, and Eui, Eui. Those are the only 2 names I can translate. The rest are way too blurry for me to actually see like what it said.
Interesting.
But yeah, there's names on there, and I guess one of the names is what? Caleb Doom, I think we heard or we saw.
Yeah, someone on Twitter translated that one of the names on the wall said Doom on it. Caleb Doom, maybe? Who knows? I mean, at this point, the timeline, he escaped the Bad Batch, so who knows where he is at this point.
In this timeline, he's probably a little older than Reva, I would imagine, I think.
He would be the same age as Kanan, or not Kanan, Cal, maybe? Because, Cal and Caleb were both around the same age, I believe.
Yeah, I
Because
think.
they were both Padawans during Order 66.
Yeah, you're right. I think you're right. Yeah. So I guess Cal Kestis would be in his 20s at least.
I think it was confirmed that in, Fallen Order, he was 18 or 19.
Really? No way.
I think so. And I think in the sequel, he'll be in his, mid to late 20s, I think. I don't remember the exact age.
Yeah. Huh.
But it would make sense because if he was a Padawan during Order 66, that would make sense.
Yep.
And, yeah, in the game, Fallen Order takes place 5 years, if I remember correctly, after Episode 3.
Yep.
And then 5 years after that is Jedi Survivor, which will coincide with the events of this show.
Mm-hmm. And we definitely got a name drop in there also. What was that name drop, if you remember, Millie? What was that name drop we received?
Quinlan Voss.
Yep.
That was a huge name drop.
Mm-hmm.
Clearly, everybody on Twitter was talking about that. Clone Wars fans are going crazy, obviously, because he and Kenobi did a lot of missions together during the Clone Wars. And, yep.
And they were not if I remember correctly, they didn't like each other too much, or Obi-Wan didn't like him, I think, because he was too brash or something.
Right. They still did missions together.
Yep.
Friends or not, they still did missions. And an interesting parallel between Quinlan and Cal is that they both had Night Sister. Well, I mean, we don't know if Cal's in love with Merrin, but it's pretty obvious. But Quinlan and Ventress and Tal and Merrin have so much in common. I can't stress enough. Oh my god. That parallel I mentioned last week was about those 4, how common they are. So
I know I don't want to jump too so
if that's possible.
So like obviously
I'm already going off the rails here.
No, that's fine. That's what this is all about. It's all about going off the rails on this show. if we had a plan, things would probably be boring. But so yeah, they mentioned they name drop Quinlan Voss, and then the world started spinning, and then you were saying that in episode 4, hopefully, God willing, we would see live action with Quinlan Voss. And we all hoped it was going to be O'Shea Jackson Jr.
Yeah.
And it would have made sense. I was hoping it was going to be him, just like it be a bearded Quinlan Voss. Unfortunately, it wasn't, but we'll get to that. Yeah. So here's my question. Before we're going to get to Leia being interrogated by Reva and Leia learning the truth of what the Empire really is. So I feel like this is what sparks the rebellion in Leia at a young age, because she sees the Empire exact for what it's actually doing. What do you think?
Yeah. I'd believe that, because like Rebels, like, she's obviously with the rebellion when at a very young age. Mm-hmm. So, and she's like in early teens during Rebels, which I think Leia's age in Rebels is like the same age as Luke and Ezra, because they were all born on Empire Day, aka when Order 66 happened.
Right.
And I believe Leia would be around 13, if I remember correctly. 13, 14. And so 4 years later, being involved in the rebellion, it would make sense that it would probably spark during these events.
Yeah, big time. Because she even says to Obi-Wan, like, they're talking about what's going on the planet on Mapuzo, and then Leia goes, I thought the Empire was supposed to be helping people. And he's like, well, no, people like your father sure are helping, but the Empire is not. They're really not helping, so that's how that's going. And also, being interrogated by an Inquisitor would cause someone to want to change sides and join the rebellion. Jedi Safe House, Quinlan Voss drop, which every single Rebels fan lost it. Vader shows up and just becomes a horror movie in and of itself. So I understand. This is where I'm going to go a little neckbeardy really quick. A little screamy, angry nerd really quick. In a good way. I'm going to preface that. But before I do, if you do remember a bit, Millie, how'd you feel about Vader showing up and then chasing Obi-Wan around in episode 3?
In the village?
Yeah.
I mean, this was like probably the first time they saw each other since Mustafar.
Mm-hmm.
So I was kind of expecting that sort of interaction, and I wasn't expecting them to fight immediately. Like, I wasn't expecting Obi-Wan to like know all his like Jedi moves from like 5 years, like 10 years ago. Like, there's like no way he'll remember something he hasn't done in 10 years. So,
right.
Obviously he'll kind of grow more as he continues to fight against the Inquisitors and potentially Vader in either the second to last episode or the last episode. Who knows? But I think it's definitely setting up the Obi-Wan we will eventually see in A New Hope.
I agree.
I have a feeling.
Absolutely, I agree. We kind of saw that come back in episode 4. He was doing like the cool like flurries when he took out a couple stormtroopers. So it's coming. We're seeing it. We're coming. So Vader's chasing. So there's a complaint with how, I'm sure you saw it. I'm sure everyone at home watching this after the fact or in chat saw it. Fans complaining about. I don't even know if I want to call them fans. Angry Star Wars nerds complaining about the editing of Vader chasing Obi-Wan.
Also. Oh, that too.
Yeah, that. And how it was stupid. Why did Vader cut him off? And why did Obi-Wan go here? How was Vader always able to keep like ahead of him? yada yada yada, right? But to that I
I
said,
think Anakin's still in there.
well, to that I say with the I agree. Well, I'll get to that. I'll definitely get to that real quick
Oh,
when we get to when we get to fire. No,
right.
I definitely got to that, but it's like him chasing him. Like everyone's like, oh, this is stupid. This is like a stupid slasher movie. But that's kind of like the point, I think, of why they did it that way. Why it was edited that way, because this made Vader very intimidating. I don't know about you, but I was very intimidated by how Vader was just showing up, cutting him off, like how much bigger than life he was than we've seen him before. Even though big people have donned the suit to be Vader, something about this episode made him seem much bigger. Yeah, exactly. Think like in the chat, Scarif Scuttlebutt podcast. Thank you. Um, yes, Vader. They made Vader into Jason Voorhees. They made him Friday the 13th Vader, just the way he popped up. And in any good slasher movie, you can never, no matter how slow the slasher guy is moving, running, walking, whatever, you can never outrun him. Whether it's Jason Voorhees, Michael Myers, Chucky, a tiny 3-foot doll. Ouch! I hit my hand. Sorry. You could never, ever, ever outrun the bad guy, outrun the killer, and they did exactly that with Vader. And I think it made him much scarier, much more intimidating. What do you think, Millie?
Oh man. Um. Yeah, I think he was way more intimidating and scary here. I think the second most intimidating I've seen Vader was in Rogue One when he was murdering everybody on that ship. I think that was the second closest.
I agree. And to the next point you brought
Dang.
up, the next point you brought up with Anakin still in there, I think we saw that with the fire, not the burning part, but so they're fighting. Vader's whooping his butt, all that stuff, because Vader is just angry. He says that line that's, I am what you made me, which sounded angry and painful at the same time. It sounded like a little crack in his voice as he said that. He drags him through the fire, then he stops. And then Tala fires onto, the canister, blowing things up. And the droid comes to save Obi-Wan, carrying him off. And a lot of fans were complaining about how, well, Vader has the Force. Why not just Force grab him and pull him back towards him? Why make the Stormtroopers do it? And I think, as you mentioned, right there is where we saw Anakin peak a little bit. Because Vader easily could have gone through that fire, easily gotten Obi-Wan, easily dispatched the droid and Tala right there. But he didn't, because I think Anakin was still there, a small part of him. And even my wife said it also. Anakin was still there, and he just couldn't bring himself to really hurt Obi-Wan or hurt him anymore. And it just might come back in the last episode. Maybe that's how Obi-Wan beats him when they face each other in the last episode.
I mean, they're definitely not going to kill each other, because obviously we know what their fate is in A New Hope.
Right.
So.
Exactly.
I'm wondering how they're gonna end this series, because there's no way they can end this series off on 6 episodes on a good note, because we really don't know what happened to Obi-Wan between episode 3 and episode 4.
Other than this,
we kind of get an idea in Rebels that he does return to Tatooine at one point again, stay in hiding, look out for Luke and stuff. Other than that, we don't know really much about Obi-Wan during this time. So
I wonder if then we'll get fully into episode 4. I wonder if at the end, because that line is going to ring true at some point from A New Hope. When we last met, I was student. Now I am the master of that whole. I know I'm messing up the line, but that particular line, right? So I'm wondering if Obi-Wan.
I think that's a reference.
Yeah, I think it might be a reference to them fighting each other in the 6th episode, maybe.
Or he's like an apprentice or like a apprentice to as like for like as a Sith instead of a Jedi. Then he's a Sith master by the
Right.
time A New Hope happens. Maybe that's what he's referring to.
Maybe.
He's
Maybe
training to be a Sith.
Obi-Wan still is able to defeat him, like, even though he's all full Vader mode, and maybe Obi-Wan damages him. Maybe we'll see a battle damage Vader live action at the end of this. Who knows? Like, I just I don't agree with a lot of like the anger that's saying they're messing up the canon. I just think they're adding stuff to it that really doesn't mess anything up. It almost enhances it a lot, in my opinion. Um, so now we're in episode 4. Walk me through it, Millie. What happens to us in episode 4?
So my bullet points are kind of out of order here. So I'm just gonna list. I'm just gonna read off of what I wrote down in my notebook and on the Google Doc. So
Yeah.
Obi-Wan in the Bacta tank. I was right that Obi-Wan would be in a Bacta tank. I was incorrect about the theory we would see Clone Wars flashbacks or like flashbacks in general when he was in there. Although we did kind of get him and Vader in the Bacta tank at the same time, which was kind of cool.
Yeah.
And like knowing about each other in the Force, I guess. There was that parallel there. Leia at Fortress Inquisitorius getting interrogated by Reva.
I know.
That was a very interesting scene between her and Reva, and I think we got a hint of Reva's backstory here. If you want to delve into that,
Yeah.
I remember.
So she had a droid apparently when she was a kid.
Yeah,
And it was taken away from her. It could have been a droid she had on Coruscant, the Jedi Temple. Who knows?
on Coruscant. Yeah.
Yeah, and everything gets
Knows.
get taken away from her. She had to fight for herself. She's telling like Leia all this stuff. Like she's been hurt hard, very very hard up until this
Yeah.
point.
I'm saying Trilla a lot.
Yes, I agree. Just like so.
Which reminds me, I saw like I saw someone tweet on Twitter, someone saying on Twitter that Reva and Cal could have been classmates.
Oh,
Coruscant.
it's it's possible.
I mean, like, she looks to be in her 20s, and I think her Moses Ingram is like in her like mid to late 20s, so she's like old enough to play someone who's like 19, 20, because like when Daisy Ridley played Rey in Force Awakens, she was like 25, I think, and obviously Rey in Force Awakens and Last Jedi were like 19, so it
Yeah,
makes sense. And if this is 10 years later, Reva would have been 9 when Order 66 happened. She would have been a youngling.
that's true. That's true.
That
Yeah.
just proves further my theory. She'd be 19 during this time.
Mm-hmm.
What do you all think in the chat?
Yeah. Let us know what you guys think. Let
My
us
theory
know
on that.
the comments also. What do you think on
And in
like
the comments as well.
what do you guys think about Cal and Reva possibly being classmates? Oof. Like I think like Trilla's anger comes from her master abandoning her. That's where that all came from.
Master.
So Reva, I think it comes from everybody abandoning her, and the Jedi that are supposed to protect her are gone. So I think that's where that comes from. I do love how Reva can't force read Leia. I thought that was awesome.
Yeah, it reminds me of the scene in The Force Awakens
Yep.
where like Rey and Ben or Kylo are like actually no, Force Awakens when when Kylo was interrogating Rey and like yeah, it kind of reminds me of that scene where like Rey was like fighting back and Kylo was taken aback.
Mm-hmm. You're afraid you'll never be as strong as Darth Vader. Like, I love how it was
Yeah.
able to show how
There's also
strong.
like the Leia Tarkin parallel too.
Exactly. Yes.
Universe.
Exactly. Because
What you're probably going to say.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Yep.
Sass, pretty much.
The sass, but also same thing with when the Tarkin tried to get stuff out of her, he just couldn't. She's too strong, not only in her will, but also in the Force. Also, or then maybe it's just her willpower is just preventing Reva from like really getting in there. Because I would assume she'd be able to sense a Force sensitive. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, at 10 years old, like, wasn't Anakin like 9 or 10 in like Phantom Menace? Like when like found out about his
Yeah, he was 9.
ability.
He was 9 when Qui-Gon figured it out or
Like,
sensed it.
so Leia's 10. Like, I'm assuming like because she was like 10, like Rever probably didn't sense her force sensitivity. Maybe it wasn't until she like realized something was up with Leia. She was when she was being interrogated.
Mm-hmm. Quinlan Vossary went out the window, didn't it?
Yep. Yep. He didn't show up. O'Shea Jackson Jr. did not play him.
Nope.
Rip that theory. I'm still hoping he does show up, because like that name drop was like so out of nowhere, and I hope that does justice. Like I hope it's like I hope it's like a season 1 like post credit scene or post credit tag where he shows up, and yeah.
Kind of like in Rebels when we discovered that Fulcrum was Ahsoka.
Exactly.
Just shows up, everyone's like, "Oh!" And all of a sudden things finally make sense. That's what that symbol was. It's her. It's her. Yeah. Okay. Cool. That's the Fulcrum symbol. So yeah, that's what else. What else happened in this episode there, Millie?
Let's see. Still convinced her Reva was one of the younglings. Yep, I think we covered that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, here's my so I'll talk about the tomb because this will talk about my next bullet point. So the tomb.
Yep.
On Fortress Inquisitorius. What? Like, okay, how do I even begin with this? Like, I just have a full, like, the Inquisitors, like, the Empire has a tomb full of dead bodies. Not just Jedi, but, like, other people.
Oh, I think we lost Millie again.
On how, like, he might, like, maybe it's all part of Palpatine's plan for him to resurrect himself in Rise of Skywalker if his plan goes wrong.
I agree.
Maybe.
I definitely saw like a similar theory for that also.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think one in that tomb. I am convinced that Roken's wife is in there somewhere in that tomb. Because there's because there's
I was wondering who the wife was, like, and he mentioned that he had a force sensitive wife.
Because they made it prevalent. They want you to know he had a wife, and the way he described it, like I knew what she was when we got married, and I can see what the Inquisitors would do, that whole thing. I am hoping it's not Reva, because I saw those comments come out also, and it's like
no,
guys, like Finn is not Mace Windu's kid. Reva is not his wife. Let's just get out of that. But in the tomb,
it could be related to Lando, but that's more likely than the other theories I've seen.
Right. But they showed, like, in the tomb,
anyway.
They do a close up to 2 females for whatever reason. Like,
yeah.
Like, and only 2.
And a youngling.
And a youngling.
And a character named, which I actually wrote down, named Tara Sinoob from the Clone Wars.
Yep.
specifically him for some reason.
Yep. I guess they just wanted to like just stick a knife in us and spin it, just
And
cause.
yeah, I mean, to be fair, he did interact with Ahsoka, so Ahsoka connection.
Yeah, that's true.
Buddy. Um, but yeah, there was yeah, the youngling really killed me there. And people thought that the youngling we saw in the tomb was the same youngling we saw in the flashback in episode 1.
It could have been because I think I didn't, unfortunately I didn't get a chance to watch episode 1 again to confirm it. Um, I did notice the youngling in that tomb would look like to be a Zabrak or Zarbak. I always mispronounce it because it looked like he had like little tiny
Oh, really? I didn't notice that.
like, oh, I was watching like really close, unhealthily close last night on my monitor here in my office. Like, like for those who can see me at home, here's me and there's a screen like right on my face as I'm watching it, just so I can get like a better idea. And it looked like he had like little horns underneath like his little helmet that I was wearing as like a Padawan training. So if we see one a Zarbak or Zabrak in episode 1, that will tell us right there it's one of the kids that we saw in episode 1 instantly.
Now you gotta go. Now you have to watch episode 1 again to confirm. Because I'm pretty. They looked similar, like the youngling and the kid in the tomb.
I'm not sure if I want to. That seeing Order 66 is always a lot to take in.
It's tough.
Yeah.
It's tough.
But yeah, like there was a theory I saw online. I forgot where I saw the theory. I might have been on Twitter, it might have been on TikTok about the tomb. And yeah, it's definitely piggybacking off of your theory of the Emperor's plan to clone himself if it goes awry.
Resurrect.
Yeah, and resurrect himself. And then that's why everyone goes nuts working for Grogu, because now all the samples they had for I hate that word, midichlorians, but for midichlorians and all that stuff are gone, and they're concentrated in Grogu. Grogu has all the midichlorians, and that's why they want Grogu, because the Emperor is coming back and being resurrected in some way, shape, or form. He's coming back. So yeah, the tomb sucks.
I wonder what Palpatine is doing during this, like all this. Like, is he just in the background, just like spectating what's going on? He's like suspiciously like just in the background during all this.
Oh, I'm sure
I think about it.
I'm sure he's doing what like most dictators do while his foot soldiers are out doing terrible things, and you can't do this. He's living the life of luxury on Coruscant. I am sure that's what he's doing.
To be honest, I feel like Vader will at some point. I feel like in the finale episode, or hopefully in tomorrow's episode, maybe he'll report back to Palpatine during all this, and he'll be played by Ian McDiarmid again.
Yeah.
I hope so. Ian McDiarmid deserves to be in more Star Wars stuff.
He does. And he's always good with fans. Like, and this is going off topic, but he's always great with fans. He's always like friendly. He loves his character. So he definitely should. So yeah, we have Obi-Wan rediscovering his lightsaber abilities. I thought that was pretty cool. And getting back used to the Force. I thought that was amazing. Like, really amazing. Like the episode starts with him trying to move like that little tiny object across the table, and then it ends with him throwing something in the other room, distracting the stormtroopers, cutting stormtroopers down, like stopping the water from entering like that hallway, which they so. The Empire is really bad at following OSHA rules. I've noticed. Like, there's no, like, rails anywhere in any other stuff. No guide rails. Nothing that's preventing you from falling over. No safety for that laser.
Think things through.
Yeah.
Nope.
And you have, like, a blaster fire that can probably
melt glass. There's always some flaws with projects, like, especially with the Death Star thing. There's, like flaws in every project the Empire is working on.
Well, I mean, when you go to the lowest bidder, I'm sure that's exactly how it works. But yeah, come on, guys. Come on, Sheev. Like, follow some motion regulations, dude. Your Empire would have lasted a lot longer if you did. Seriously, man.
You guys probably have a lot of money from, bounty hunters and all that.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah. You guys can hire bounty hunters. Put some railings up, man. Come on. Protect your workers.
On, guys.
There's a lot of contractors that died on the second Death Star because of that. Anyway, yeah.
Anyway, we got Purge Troopers from Fallen Order. A different variation, though, but still
Purge Troopers.
In, Fortress Inquisitorius.
We got live action stuff from games, which is great.
I was like, oh my god. I was doing, the Leonardo DiCaprio pointing at the screen thing, when I saw that Purge Trooper. And also, another Fallen Order thing, when Obi-Wan was, in the forest to make sure the window doesn't break, so the water doesn't go through. That's the same exact thing Cal does in the game.
Yep.
During the boss battle, oh my god.
Yep.
Which also coincidentally features, your enemies drowning in the end. In the same fortress. Fortress Inquisitorius needs better security because first, so far, Obi-Wan and Cal has infiltrated the fortress in the last 5 years.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Which is really funny. Oh. Yeah, do better, Empire. Do better, Sheev.
It's all Sheev's fault. He's cutting corners in security.
It's all Sheev's fault.
It is. He's cutting corners in security.
Hashtag cancel Sheev.
Ooh, I'm writing that one down. That's gonna be our running gag for years to come. Hashtag cancel Sheev.
Anyway, let's see. We're getting toward the end of the episode 4, so I guess Obi-Wan. Oh yeah, and obviously, we didn't mention Leia, after, she failed to get interrogated by Reva, she ends up in the torture room. It looks like a torture room. I have no idea.
Yeah.
It parallels the scene where, the probe droid is about to, probe the information out of Leia, and then same thing happens here, I guess. And then Obi-Wan saves her, and then they both escape. They drown the stormtroopers that were attacking them, or trying to shoot them, or imprison them, I don't know. And then that whole interaction with, Reva and Tala was iconic.
Mm-hmm.
I forget what the line was, but, was never who I was, or something.
Yeah.
Something. That line. Yeah, and before that, funny enough, Obi-Wan, hiding Leia, trench coat, kind of in the movie theater trying to go see rated R movie. That was that energy.
I know, right? 2 6th graders wearing a trench coat.
Here, but yeah, it was a very obvious disguise too, which is funny. No one noticed him. And then obviously not everyone makes it out alive.
Yep.
I forget what the other guy's name was.
Wade.
Wade, I think was his name that perished.
Mm-hmm.
Wade. He didn't make it there. Yeah, and at one point, Reva somehow, after Reva and Vader have this conversation how how Reva failed him, and Reva's being extra smart, and she made Lola the tracker.
Mm-hmm.
Which was kind of saw it coming, but at the same time, I was like, it says shocked because I wasn't expecting. I was like expecting the tracker to be on the ship instead of like, you know, Lola,
Yeah.
like the droid. I didn't think about that, but yeah, I was still shocked when they revealed that. And I'm very worried that they're gonna end up like Obi-Wan's gonna have to force himself to destroy the droid after he
Oh,
repaired it for Leia
I didn't
in the
think of that.
previous episode, and yeah, remember when he fixed Lola for Leia? Like now he's gonna have to force himself to like disassemble it again. Oh my god.
I didn't think of that at all. You know what's cool though? I noticed not that's such a terrible transition. Um, but you actually see Reva slip Lola into Leia's pocket when the stormtroopers take her away.
Yeah.
Like when I watched it the second time, I caught it. I'm like, oh, there it is. That's where
Oh
she stuck. That's where she stuck it in.
yeah. Oh.
So they're both sitting at the table, and
Yep.
Leia's sitting against the table. Reva has her back against the table, and Reva's talking about her
Oh
having.
yeah, doesn't like Lola go under the table into Reva or something?
Yeah, so Reva actually
Leia doesn't notice.
yeah, like Reva's actually playing with Lola. Like that's how the scene starts. She's playing with Lola, and like
Right.
Lola's
Yeah,
still a
I
thing.
noticed that. I didn't notice her like actually doing something.
So it is so fast. It is so quick. I had to keep on rewinding to make sure I saw what I saw. Um, so they're having a heart to heart, and Reva turns to Leia and she says, "Listen, these people will betray you. Like, just tell us where they are, and no one will get hurt." And then Leia's like, "Okay, promise me no one will get hurt. I just need to tell my father first." And that's when Reva like gets upset. She's like, almost. And right when she tells the stormtroopers to take her away, you actually see really quick, sleight of hand, her hand put Lola into Leia's pocket.
My God. Wow.
Yeah. Now keep in
Wow.
mind, I was watching this with the monitor maybe 6 inches away from my face, so that's why I caught it.
Of course.
Um, and I do not recommend that to anyone, but hey, it happened. But yeah, you see it
No.
just boop, like her throw it in there. One thing I want to bring up really quick in this episode, like Tala just being a G at the beginning as she's infiltrating like the Fortress Inquisitoris. Um,
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I forgot to mention that in my notes. I
when
was
she,
like too engulfed in this episode to write more down.
when she like talks down the security officer, I thought that was dope.
Yeah.
I thought that was
Yeah.
dope. What's your position here? Then I'm superior officer. Yes, sir. And like he just starts, just instantly, just goes like baby status instantly.
I wonder what her position was before all this. Like what she did.
Well, we can we can obviously be nerds about it, watch it, and then decode like her little her badge to get her rank. Um, but obviously she was high ranking if she was able to walk in there without too much issue.
Yeah. She must have been high ranking somewhere.
Yeah, definitely high
So
ranking. So kids in a trench coat. Um, Going back to some neckbeardy things really quick. This is not me being a neckbeard and screaming. This is me screaming at neckbeards. So for you neckbeards being offended by this, come at me, bro. Um, but some of the comments I saw online on Twitter were that people hated how they said it was impossible how these three were able to be on the landing platform, run into stormtroopers firing at them, and no one getting hit, and making it to the speeder to fly away and no one got hit by blaster fire. Which, to that I say, that is literally all of Star Wars since A New Hope.
literally though.
We have made jokes for years, that stormtroopers can't hit a target. Years.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
I don't know where that's coming from. It's
Even
like
Luke says,
I can't see a
I
thing in
can't
this.
see in this thing.
Yeah.
Like there's a canonical reason in the universe why they don't fire straight and don't hit anything.
Exactly.
Because they can't see.
Yeah. So, yeah, dudes, like angry yelling at the screen and typing like furiously on their keyboards. It's always been there. So if you don't like it in this, you don't like Star Wars at all. That's all I'm gonna say. So come at me, guys. Come on, clap back at me. Come get me. I love this stuff. Famous last words. So how does this all wrap up, Millie? This episode 4.
I mean, I mentioned the Lula being a tracker like Reverend planted.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, no, before that, Leia and Obi-Wan hold hands.
Yeah. Oof. Yeah. That was cute and sad all at the same time.
I don't remember what happened at the or like in the transport / in the base afterwards, but that was the highlight of that ending scene. Like that ending scene with him and Leia holding hands, as well as Lola getting revealed as the tracker.
Yep.
Reverend planted.
So, what are your predictions for episode 5 tomorrow, if anything?
Oh my god. So obviously most of my predictions were thrown out the window last week, so honestly I have 0 predictions. Because every time I predict something, it's always incorrect. So, and every episode's always like predictable with like the story, or like unpredictable with the story, so I'm just looking forward to see what's next, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
What are your predictions, if you have any?
More Purge Troopers. Maybe some that we've seen from the games, like exact ones we've seen from the games.
Right.
Then again, this is 5 years later from what we saw in Fallen Order. So maybe these are upgraded Purge Troopers, and the one we saw last week,
yeah,
we might see in the future games.
That's what I think. Possibly, yeah. Could see those Purge Troopers in Jedi Survivor.
Mm-hmm. I'm still holding out hope for Quinlan Voss.
I hope this connects to the game.
So do I. Yeah, I'm still holding on. I'm gonna hold on to that prediction. This was gonna connect to the game.
Maybe Reva's in the game.
Maybe. I'm also thinking that it sounds stupid, but I'm thinking the reason why Reva wants to be Grand Inquisitor so much is so she can get close to Vader and the Emperor, or at least get close to Vader and take out Vader on her own.
Ooh, that's possible.
Because right now we're all going with the theory, or at least I'm going with the theory of, we're all going with the theory that Reva knows who. Yeah, that she's one of the younglings. Reva knows who Darth Vader is, that it's actually Anakin Skywalker. She kind of read it in Obi-Wan's head. But, as you said, they made it a point for us to see Reva, or see those younglings at the beginning of the series in the temple, which means she possibly saw Anakin Skywalker killing her friends.
And that's why she's mad at Darth Vader.
Yes, and she heard...
She knows.
She heard Sheev call Anakin Skywalker Darth Vader. He calls him that in the temple after he does all the stuff. We saw it like in the holocron, in the records when like Obi-Wan and Yoda go in there.
Coruscant. Yeah, it's all documented.
Yep. Rural Farm Boy. This is me telling Dave to get this on audio as an audio podcast. Anchor podcast is free. Funny you mentioned that, Rural Farm Boy. We'll talk about that more in the next episode. Because Millie and I have things. We're actually Millie with her amazing networking. We have things in the works. So stay tuned, Rural Farm Boy. But yeah, my predictions for next week. We're going to see more Purge Troopers, or at least some we've seen before. I'm still holding out for Quinlan Voss. I don't care. Like, I will watch until like the last freaking credit goes past the screen in episode 6.
I would love to see him in live action.
Yes, I'm still holding out hope for that. And
who is your like fan casting him?
The only one I can think of that would look amazing, but I don't think he'd be great actor-wise, would be Jason Momoa.
Okay.
Because he would look like it. He would look like him. He could do the same haircut. He did it in Stargate Atlantis. He had the same type of like.
It was Tamara Morrison.
In what, Stargate?
No, in Aquaman.
That's right. Yeah, he was an Aquaman. So that Star Wars connection's already kind of there. You're right. He played his dad, and I forgot about that. And, you know, also Maori, so or Pacific Islander, so I would see him being really good for the part. But we're looking really good for the part. I'm just not a fan of his acting. He's the same guy in every movie that I've seen him in, which is fine, you know, but especially if you're an action star, that's fine. I love me a good action star. But that's the only person I can think of. How about yourself?
Oh boy. God. I mean, casting him as Jason Momoa, I don't really have any fan casting. See that nod? All right, that works. Haven't seen much of Jason Momoa's work other than Aquaman, so I can't really judge. So that.
Same. Yeah, we'll see. But those are the predictions, and that is, unless you have some closing thoughts, Millie, I think that is it for tonight's episode. What do you think?
Yeah. Stay tuned for potential intent audio thing coming up.
Yep. Stay tuned for that. Rural Farm Boy, thanks for poking and prodding. Rural Farm Boy said, my one prediction for part 5 clocks in around 35-38 minutes. Fair. Okay. Because last episode 4 was pretty quick. It felt like it went by really quick.
Was that like the time thing, like time stamp, like last few weeks was like 40-50 minutes?
Episode 4 was short. I think it was like 30 something. I think. Surprisingly,
really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Like it was pretty short.
I hope the last 2 are like 50 or 40.
I know.
Like,
Give us
unless they reveal a season 2 in the last episode, then like they did with like Book of like how Mando season 2 revealed Book of Boba Fett.
Yeah.
Like that way, like I don't know. I feel like they're going to be doing that if they do that, which will be interesting.
Well, allegedly Reva's getting her own spin-off, so I'm hoping that
is also
true.
That is also true.
Mm-hmm.
It's possible.
So they might be ending it with that preview.
That means she'll have to survive this show.
Or, you know, it's her having flashbacks in a back to tank, because that's been the common thing. So.
That.
Yeah, so.
Or it's a prequel show. I don't know. Who knows?
Yeah. Anywho, friends.
Maybe it's her in the.
Go ahead.
I don't know, her in the Jedi Temple, maybe.
Her no longer being
oh my gosh.
Her no longer being an Inquisitor and trying to redeem herself across the galaxy, who
knows? I mean, we have 2 episodes left worth of content, so who knows at this point.
The problem the problem with having new Jedi come out now is, I'm talking from an emotional standpoint, is we know they're going to die somewhere before A New Hope.
Well, I mean with Ahsoka, it's kind of interesting.
Right. No, fair.
Ahsoka and Ezra, actually. It's like Ezra kind of disappears with Thrawn at the end of Rebels, and he's still potentially alive, and we'll probably see some of that in Ahsoka.
Right.
And then there's Ahsoka, obviously. She's getting her own show around the same time as Mandalorian, which is obviously after Return of the Jedi.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, like there's those two characters that were alive during Order 66, kind of disappeared between episodes 3 and 4, and then showed up again post or before the original trilogy. So, who knows what Reva's like whole deal is if she survives this one. So
It's what I was hoping. Me and my buddy that I stream with every now and then. It's what I'm hoping. What it could be for Reva for a spin-off series, if they do have, if it is true, is what I thought they were gonna do with Kylo Ren / Ben Solo at the end of The Last Jedi, or just at the end of the sequel trilogy. Where I thought they were gonna go with is Ben Solo is brought back to the light, like he kind of was at the end of Rise of Skywalker. But he doesn't die. Instead, he goes around. Go ahead.
I think people were theorizing that Ben would turn back to the light and like live. That was before the Rise of Skywalker came out. Before
Right.
all that happened.
And what we thought was
there's
because
also the whole world between worlds theory with Ben coming back after post Tross.
I didn't think of that. Ooh.
Seeing a lot of that on Twitter.
But yeah, like maybe it could be that maybe she's a good guy in her new spinoff, and she's just going around stopping all the crap she did, like, or fixing the stuff she did. Which is what I was hoping they would do with a Ben Solo if he survived. Yeah, just make him protagonist now.
We've never gotten. Technically, Boba Fett more. I don't think we've ever gotten a Star Wars villain protagonist.
Very briefly in Battlefront 2, we had one. Very briefly. Very true. Briefly.
But it's brief. It's not whole. It's not during the time. Like TV, like not like video games.
Right. But
I guess video don't matter, so.
But with that said, friends, that is our time for tonight.
These canon.
We will see you guys next week. Same Ilum time, same Ilum channel. Most likely, definitely on time at 7 p.m. with less.
Do you want to say? Do you want to say where they can follow us?
Good idea. So you guys, other than Ilum Radio here on YouTube, you can follow us on Twitter at Ilum Radio. You can also follow us on Instagram at Ilum Radio. And you can also follow us on TikTok. There's nothing on there yet, but you can follow us on there. We're also on Ilum Radio. If you want to have us talk about a certain subject on here, send us an email at ilumradiopodcast@gmail.com. Let me just double check that I said that correctly.
That's correct.
All right, because that's my first time saying it live. Thank you, Millie. That's my first time saying it live. But yeah, if you want us to talk about a certain subject, send us an email at ilumradiopodcast.
Yeah, it's also in the YouTube about section on our channel, so it should be there.
Yep. Let us know what you think of this episode on the podcast. On the comments below. Let us know what you like, what you didn't like. Let us know if you want us to stop, because we're not going to stop. We're going to keep on doing this until we run out of internet. And that is basically it. Rural Farm Boy, thank you for tuning in. We will see you next week. And we will have news about possible audio stuff. We will see. But that's it for tonight, friends. Be easy, stay frosty, and as always, may the Force be with you.
The Force be with you.
Bye.